Hello everyone and welcome to Stan the Wine Man TV. I am your host, Stan Rattan, aka Stan the Wine Man, and this is the Blue Collar Wine Show where I try to help you spend your wine dollars wisely. And how do I do it? I taste the wines right here, I review them, I analyze them, and then after I review, it's up to you because you know what, it's your palate. And you know, happy holidays. I mean, December is like one of my favorite months, not only because there's a lot going on, there's Christmas parties, and it just, everybody seems to be in a good mood. You know, it just is one of those months, you know, Thanksgiving's over, all that preparation for cooking, now they're getting ready for Christmas and the meal there, but you know, it's just one of those months that, you know, I just like it. How do you feel about it? Do you like December? Let me know. Make a comment. You know, one thing too about December that I've always noticed being a wine guy is people really gravitate towards heavier reds. And whether it's the weather, you know, it's been kind of cold, it's warming up now, but it's still cold because the clouds have rolled in. Cold weather, the moisture just seems colder to me. I like that dry, cold. But anyway, it just seems like people gravitate towards cabs, they like bigger reds, they like maybe Amarone, Valpolicella, you know, just those bigger style reds. And you know, with prime rib, I always like to do a big prime rib on Christmas Day. It's one of the few times my wife lets me just kind of take over the kitchen and do my thing. And I really like doing that. I love to cook. And it seems like on Thanksgiving a lot of times there's so much going on, I don't get as much time to cook as I'd like. But anyway, she has to do her thing too, and she likes to cook also. So anyway, so I thought I'd pick out 3 interesting reds to try, all under $20. One barely under $20, but they're under $20 nonetheless. So let's get started right in. The first one I'm going to do is Tenuto San Antonio Skya Corvina, and it's a 2012. Now Corvina is an interesting grape. It's an Italian grape. This is from Italy, by the way. It's $11. Let me have you look at the label. Hopefully you can see. There we go. It takes my camera a minute or two to lighten up for the focus. There you go. Now Corvina is used as one of the main grapes in Amarone. I did an Amarone episode a long time ago. I'm going to link it up down below. Check it out, that video doing Amarone. Amarones tend to be, you know, they're kind of expensive. In fact, I think the cheapest one I have in the store right now is $37 a bottle. Most of them roll in above $50. They're great wines. Don't get me wrong, but they, you know, and I know that at Christmas time, a lot of you want to spend a little bit more money on that dinner. I know I do, and so, you know, you might want to check out that episode where I review. I think it was 3 or 4. I think it was 3 Amarones. But anyway, Corvina is one of the main grapes in Veneto, Italy, and they use it to blend into Amarone. And they also use it for Valpolicella and Bordolino. Those are the wines that the grape is used in. So I'm really curious. I've never tried this one before. They have a white that I really like. It's also called Skya. It's a blend of Garganega and Chardonnay, and it's very good. So I was really curious to try this and see how it measures up. Let's see what's on the nose. Very forest floor-like on the nose. You know, it has that kind of, you know, old fir needle sort of things going on. I'm getting some minerality out of it. Oh, by the way, almost forgot. For my birthday, my good buddy Frank and his girlfriend Donna, he uses this a lot. It's a little, this one's called a aerolate. Latte, they use, you know, you stir your lattes with this, but he uses it in his red wine, which I thought is pretty interesting. I said, man, I'd really like to have one of those, so he got me one for my birthday. I'm going to try it today. I'm going to link up the episode where I did, I don't know if you watched it, but I did a episode on how to aerate, decant your wine. I used a blender. I use 2 different kinds of decanters. I use the Venturi, I think it's called. Yeah, I have one of those, a little aerator. And it's interesting how they turned out. I'm curious how this will affect the wine. Frank really thinks it helps. I trust Frank. I'm going to give it a try. So I'm getting a little leather, some coffee bean, a little bit of red raspberry, and cherries. Let's see what we get on the palate. Then I'll try whipping it up a little bit. Really nice cherries, like red cherries, almost not sour, but they have the reddest, you know, like the really red cherries. I guess that's the only way to say it, right? Maybe throw in just a little bit of blackberry in there. There's a nice coffee bean element, a little touch of mocha, which is interesting. Good flow across the palate, nice mouthfeel. Very, it's really good. What else can I say? It's good. It has that nice red cherry, a little blackberry, nice smooth tannins. I'm really intrigued by this wine. The forest floor notes, I get a little bit of root beer on the backside. That's what I'm getting with those cherries. A little bit of a minerality, not a heavy minerality. You know, this is one of those wines, it's old world. I can see the Amarone-ish side of it. Of course, Amarone, they dry the grapes forever and then they press them and it makes it really rich and intense and all that. But you can get that flavor profile out of there, and this is one of those wines that if you want to try an old world wine, but you don't really, you're a little nervous, you don't want to get some of that old world action that goes on. There's some acidity on this, but it's not super intense. Yeah, a little bit of crushed rock on the finish, but not a lot. Let's see what the little aerator thing does. Make sure it doesn't. I'm a little nervous about this. That's kind of cool. Little frothy action going on there. Wow. Want to see how much that changes the flavor. I guess I'll have to wipe my bar down after this. Look at the froth on that baby. Now the idea of this, of course, for those of you who are wondering why the hell I would do something like that, is you're aerating, you're exaggerating the aeration. Kind of like those Venturis, you know, that you dump the wine through, it foams it up as it goes through. This is a little bit more intense. Very curious. Didn't change the nose much. Get a little more like a perfumed violets, like violet soap. Still got all that coffee bean. Let's see on the palate. I would have to say it smoothed it out a little bit. It's a little bit smoother on the palate. I get more I taste more of the red raspberry against the cherries with the blackberry. It's all there. You know, that's a great bottle of wine for $11. That's redonkulous. That would go with prime rib. It's not too light. I think there's enough acidity there, enough intensity, but definitely a really good, you know, winter red, you know, that you can sit and enjoy while you're watching Christmas movies or whatever it is you want. Like, I'm going to go B+, A-. B+, A-, kind of in between those two. Let's move on to the next one. Now, Cab is a huge play in December, November, January. A lot of people like their Cabs. It's a good time of the year to go at it. And I decided to go with a cab from Chile, from the Central Valley, Maipo. This is actually from near the town of Alta, Puente Alta, I think is the name of that town. A lot of vineyards around there. And that's pretty much central Chile. They have a nice map on the back. I'll give you this is called Perez Cruz Cabernet Sauvignon Reserva 2011 estate bottled wine from Chile. You know, Maple Valley in Chile is a really good place for Cabernet Sauvignon. They produce a lot of it there. This rolls in at $15. Let's see what we get on the nose. So right off the bat, I get a little caramel with a little kind of a stinky thing going on. I definitely get green bell pepper, asparagus, green tobacco. Currants are in there for sure. A little like stinky leather, like, yeah. Tobacco for sure coming through. And don't be afraid of when I say stinky, but you'll understand when you smell it. And I've said this a lot of times, but I just want to remind you that it doesn't mean the wine is stinky. I mean, you're going to taste stink on your wine. It's just a terminology you use. For some people, it may not be stinky. Maybe for somebody who never puts on deodorant, or somebody who's has really a lot of body odor, which some people do, right? They may not even notice that. It's just it's your environment, what you grow up in. To me, it's stinky. I get a stink action on it. Let's see what we get on the palate. Good structure on this wine. I mean, you're drinking a cab. The green element comes through right off the bat, but there's enough currants that kind of wrap around it, and you don't get like a green salad, like asparagus or green bell pepper or celery or any of those things. It has that greenness to it, but like I said, the fruit is big enough that it just kind of all wraps together nicely on the palate. There's some minerality on the backside, a lot of leather. I get tobacco for sure, but this has a great mid palate on it. It just kind of expands the fruit. The second time around, I get a little bit more of the green, but like I said, in the mid palate, that fruit expands. You get the cherries and the currants. There's some herbal components through there, and a little minerality on the backside. It's a good bottle of wine. Let's see what it does after we put a little. That's kind of fun. I like doing that. It's cool. No wonder Frank likes that. Now it didn't change the Corvina as much, and probably because it didn't need to as much. It depends on how wound up the wine is, how young it is, how much decanting these wines need. I'm saying the Corvina probably, these have been open for quite a while, by the way, but just uncorked. I didn't put them in decanters. Still has a stink, which I find very interesting. A lot of tobacco. So you can see, foamed it up again. Look at that. Has a little head on it, like a beer. Let's see what we get on the palate. Not a lot of difference on this one. It actually seemed to stir up the tannins a little bit. Like it's a little bit even more structured now than it was when I first tasted it, which I find very interesting. Still has the tobacco, the currants, the cherries, a little bit of green coming through, a little bit of that, you know, asparagus, green bell pepper thing. But definitely a great cab. I'm impressed with this for $15. Finishes dry, you know, great prime rib cab. I would do that. $15, you know, and there's a little bit of coffee bean element on the end, but good long finish. I mean, I'm still tasting this wine. I get the currants, a little bit of minerality, a little bit of tobacco, all that coming through. This is a project that I believe Paul Hobbs is involved in, and what a great bottle of wine. I'm going to go A-, solid A- on that one for $15. It's really good. Now, we're going to go on to a very interesting Malbec, 220, 221. I always say Malbec, so I'm going to stick with Malbec. This is from a California producer who is using Argentinian fruit, so that's the in thing now. A lot of these California or Washington or whatever are using the fruit from, this one is from Salta, Argentina. Now Hess is out of California. So it's a Salta, Argentina Malbec 2011. It goes for $20, and I believe they have all these incentives and things to buy a couple of cases. It's less than that. I think you could probably get it for about 17 bucks. But as we say, the regular price is $19. And remember, there's a lot of great Malbec out there that is more than $10. And, you know, like I said, I always worried about Argentina, you know, really pigeonholing themselves into cheap Malbec. I like the Malbecs. There's a lot of good Malbecs in that under $14 range, but there's also a lot of great Malbec that in the $20 range. And, you know, unless you know, force yourself to try and experience those things and quit thinking about the fact that you can't get a good Malbec, they certainly should all be $10. There's some serious Malbec out there that, you know, some of them rolling at 50, 60, 70 bucks. And, you know, it just depends on if you're willing to go there and if you're willing to give it a try. Hopefully, you know, that's what this show does. I may have some of those on my show in the future. See if it's worth your dollars to do that. So here we're looking at a $17 to $20 Malbec, California producer using Argentina fruit from Salta, which is up north in Argentina. Usually you see a lot of Torrantes coming from Salta. Let's see what we get on the nose. Very solid. I'm getting currants and black olive. A little bit of bark. There's a little perfumed element, like perfumed rose petal coming through. Very interesting. Nose, let's see what we get on the palate. Very solid. This is not like a $10 Malbec. There's nothing soft about this. This has a really solid core of tannins. A lot of red cherry, black cherry currants coming through. Definitely the bark element is there. And I'm getting a little bit of tobacco. A little bit of grip action on the backside. Very solid Malbec. And this might be a chance for you, if you find one for around the $17 range, to try a Malbec that's a little bit more than $10 to $12, and the difference that you see in the structure, the fruit, the overall balance. You know, this is a salt I would not have, and one of my favorite Malbecs is the Alberti 154 in that lower tier. But I don't know if that could stand up to a really well done prime rib. This Hess would definitely fall in that. It has a structure to go up to that sort of thing. You know, rib steaks, really good stew with some spices in it. This is good stuff. This is really good Malbec. And the lingering, I mean, I'm getting lingering red cherries and currants and leather coming through. A little bit of a tobacco element, like tobacco leaf. And the black olive component comes through too. Let's see if Mr. Aero Latte helps me out at all. That's good Malbec. I mean, it really is. I'm gonna go, because I know you guys aren't gonna probably stick a Aero Latte blender in your wine. I'm gonna go A- on that one too. I think it's a very well done Malbec, and I think that it's a fair price for the solid structure. And that one will age. Actually, the Cab will age also. I'd give them easily 3 to 5, 6, 7 years. They will get better, but they're good now, which is a because there's good acidity on that Malbec also. Nice job, Hess, on that wine. And, you know, I just hope you guys have a really great holiday. And I'm going to do, I'm working on some things for my video. I'm trying to get an intro sort of thing going on. I just have to get the right people. I'm not a techie guy. You know, I was able to buy the camera. I know how to shoot. I know how to get on YouTube. I know how to do that. But there's a lot of stuff I'm learning as I'm going along. I really appreciate your support. You know, I hope you continue to watch, especially you homies that call on me at the store, you guys that are in my wine world. Keep watching, make comments, get this channel really lively for me. Help me out. I need your help. I'm asking for your help. And I still want ideas, you know. Should I change the background? I know I've looked at this a couple of times. You know, my bar sits really close to the windows. I don't mind it so much. How do you feel about it? Make a comment. Does all this stuff behind me bother you? I know my friend Robin told me to take it down. You know, she has some experience. I've left them up because I've watched some other videos where guys have a lot going on behind them, and you know, it doesn't seem to bother me. And some people, a lot of people said it doesn't bother them. You know, so I need your input. I respect you, Robin, very much. I know you've got some really good ideas, and I've followed a lot of those ideas, but you know, I need your input. Make some comments. Let's see how this changed, if it changed the Hess. I think it might have, because the Hess had a lot of structure. Yeah, definitely more mocha coming out on the nose. Tobacco and mocha definitely made a difference there. Let's see what we get on the palate. Very interesting. With all that structure, it softened that grip on the back end of this wine. Actually, the black olive came out a lot more, and a little bit of mocha thing going on. And actually, for a lot of you, that might have improved it a little bit, immediately making it a little more approachable, although it was approachable at first. But this softened it up quite a bit in the structure department. I think that's very interesting. Good call, Frank. You're right on there. Maybe not for everyone. If it's a little lighter, maybe it might be too aggressive. It doesn't seem to make a change. But on a structured wine like the Hess, it definitely made a difference. I'm also going to finish my, I'm going to change my finish on this video. If you guys have any ideas, you know, the here's keeping the snob out of wine, that's kind of cool and all, but you know, I need something else. I need something else. You know, thanks for watching. And really, the thing I was thinking about, is the wine world is not a complicated. There's a lot of things to learn in the wine world, but wine is pretty simple. If you like it, then drink it. If you don't like it, don't drink it. But always be willing to experiment. And really, it's all of you out there that are watching me that keep the wine world blue collar by not being a wine snob. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Over and out. I missed. Dang it. See ya.